Nice and warm in the sun.
It is. We're pretty well set up to fly now. We got it all set up to go. You can see we got glass cockpits. That's a mod they did to this airplane to make it more utilitarian, so we can fly anywhere in the world, any kind of weather that comes our way. It's a 3-pilot airplane. We got a captain, a first officer, and a flight engineer. The flight engineer takes care of our environmental stuff, electricity, fuel, that kind of stuff. And then the middle gauges are all engine gauges, all those stacks of 4. That's all engine. Of course, up here is our flight management system. We got GPS and laser ring gyros that tell us where we're at. We tell them where it's at on Earth, and then it uses combination of VORs, GPS to fix our position, usually within about 2 or 3 meters.
Yeah, okay.
Anywhere in the world that we go. It'll give us our altitude, plus or minus about 50 or 60 feet as well.
50 or 60 feet?
Yeah, it's fairly accurate. We use iPads for our charts and stuff like that, and then over here is our RADS XXL. That's our delivery system. It's all computer controlled. The doors are hydraulically actuated, computer controlled. We can set up a coverage level, a high number being more liters per square meter is the best way to put it, and the lower ones are usually we use range 2 to 3. Sometimes we use 4 and 6 if it's like over jungle or very thick, so we can get the
penetration.
Penetrate some. But we have a little bit less of a run with that, with a larger setting. So much of your product is going out that way.
And how much are you dropping all up?
About 36,000 pounds of retardant at a time. I can't remember what that relates to liters, but it all goes out fairly quickly. I mean, we can spread it out over a long distance. Here we'll do kind of a medium drop. I think we're going to do a 3 or a 4, and it goes up to 10. We have an E-dump switch down there if we get into trouble, because the airplane's fairly heavy when it takes off. We hit that switch, 36,000 pounds in 2.2 seconds or so.
So with your drops and all that, is the air controller calling what type of drop he wants, or you're visualizing it? Yep.
In those lead airplanes, one guy is flying the airplane, and we're a large air tanker, and DC-10 is a very large air tanker, and we always have a lead. I mean, like 99% of the time we have the lead, and he'll show us what he wants us to do, so that there's no question, because it's expensive. You know, so we want to make sure we get maximum use of the product that we have on board. Our time, the product is expensive as well. So he leads us in, says, okay, this is where I want you to drop, starting here, run to here, or there's already a drop there, because the retardant is red, and we can see where previous drops have been. He says, I want you to tag and extend. In other words, I want you to touch that with your retardant and then go this direction. He'll show us, and then we'll come back around, and then he'll usually, when he gets to the point where he wants us to release, he'll puff smoke. He's got a little smoke generator on the airplane. Puts a little bit of oil and exhaust in it, creates a little smoke trail for you to follow. And that's where, as soon as that hits our nose, we release the button.
And the retardant, the color in it's only just for visual, isn't it?
It is. It's all visual. It's kind of, it works as a what do you call it here? Where you put, where you like to put manure on a field.
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer. It's got some of the fertilizer in it, and then the new stuff fades after about 6 months or so. Some of the older stuff didn't fade away as well. So you had these red stripes all over the place for a year or so until it rained it away. But now it's ultraviolet sensitive, so once the sun hits it, it kind of starts fading. Gets rid of it.
So after each drop, so you've got a fire, you depart the area, you come back. From wheels down to wheels back up in a fire time, would you be looking at a reasonable time, or?
Probably 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
If with this setup here, we can be fully loaded in about 9 to 10 minutes. So then the rest of that would be taxi time. Here it's fairly short. I mean, our taxi time is 2 or 3 minutes. So say 6 minutes, that'd be 15 minutes with, if nothing holds us up. Normally it doesn't. I mean, and then we can even get fuel at the same time. Here at the base they'll let us do that. So if we need to get gas, normally we carry enough gas for 3 drops. If we're doing something within, say 30 or 40, maybe 50 miles from here, we can do 3 or 4 drops without having to get fuel again.
And do you prefer, in the sense of, I suppose it gets down to the type of fire, whether if you've got the chance to get that bit of extra fuel in case the fire is moving away, or?
Usually the fire isn't moving that fast. I mean, 5 or 6 miles to us because when we're cruising, we're doing Well, we're at 10, so we're 250 knots.
Yeah.
I mean, a few miles isn't going to make much difference in time for us at all. A minute or two at the very most.
Some of the fires you've been in, how many typical type of loads would you perform from start to finish?
Return to base, we're in Indonesia here recently working for the Australians, helping them out, and we were doing 6 sorties a day. And then on those sorties, sometimes we drop as many as 3 times. Okay. You're trying to corral something off, so it's not one nice long run. You got to go this way, then make a, maybe a 20 or 30 degree turn, go that way, and then, go another 30 or 40 degrees, however it's set up, and change direction and go somewhere else.
Yeah. How impressive is it from the front, looking at coming into it?
Whenever I first started doing it, it was pretty impressive. Now it's, as it gets along, it's a little bit less. But it's really impressive on the outside looking at what's going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes the lead will come up beside us when we're doing a drop. We're dropping on the same spot, same time, same area again, and he'll ask us if we're ready to work. We'll say yes. Remember where we were, remember where we left off at. So he'll get out of our way, and just because it saves time, we don't have to go look at it, come back around and drop on it. We've already done it a couple times. So we'll come directly into it with him on our wing and drop, and sometimes you get a picture out of that from either media that might be on there or the air attack that's with him.
For sure. So when you're looking at your overall coverage of a day and you're getting GPS tracked, so you've got your flight paths and all of that, at the end of a fire season and all that, are you looking at how well you attack each fire and seeing if it can improve, or is it more just a fire by fire basis and terrain?
We like to get it fire by fire because we know, okay, whenever we get done dropping, they'll give us an assessment. Well, you needed to be another wing width off, the wind caught it and drifted it, and in this airplane we have really good wind drift correction. It'll tell us exactly how many knots left or right or on the nose or quartering it is, so you have a really good idea of what's going on, so you can adjust that. But sometimes we don't quite get it right. I mean, even the leads, they tell us drop here. Oh, well, we need to be a half a wing width over or this way, left or right. And so we can adjust it right then. We like to have that feedback right away because now we can equate it to what we just seen, okay, and learn from it. I mean, if they tell you 6 months down the road,
it's too long.
Was that the 10th trip that day, the 2nd trip that day? We just don't know.
Yeah.
So it's really good to get that feedback right away.
How long have you been doing it for?
I'm just under a year. I've been, I started school last year, I think, in February or March. And then my first drops have been over here in the last couple of months.
Seeing what's happening in America and across the world, it's pretty much a permanent job now, isn't it, traveling the world?
It is. When we first got into the game, they told us we'd be working during the summer. And now we've got Australia in the winter. They're doing some stuff in Coulson isn't yet, but there's other people that are fighting fires in Europe. Before this starts up, there's a little bit of a lag between the U.S. fire season and the Australian fire season. But I think they could have a contract probably all the time. We got to have maintenance sometime. We have to take them down for maintenance. It's pretty hard on the firefighters.
That's it. I saw some photos just this morning of the other Hercules, which is coming into Victoria sometime pretty soon. So
131, yeah.
So that's 2 assets here?
It will be, yes. We won't be at the same base. They're probably going to put us on the border somewhere and then put them in like Avalon or somewhere along in that line. I think is where they're going.
Yeah. It seems to be the coverage now is not just in one spot, but if you can spread it out, so then everyone's got a good time to it.
And then you're not having 2 airplanes trying to get fuel and retardant at the same time. It makes it a little bit easier. And then if you spread it out a little bit, the time to the fire can change as well. You know what I mean? If we got 2 bases here and there's a fire over here, then this guy can take that. We can take this over here. So the turnaround times get shorter and shorter, which means more product on the ground for the amount of hours that you're flying, which is efficiency. That's what we shoot for.
So have you done a real fire drop yet in your time?
Oh yeah, we were in Indonesia.
So
yeah. We were there for a week, and I think we did 20-something sorties while we were there. We dropped quite a bit of, we're using water there because environmental. They didn't have the, I don't know what the deal was, but they wouldn't let us drop retardant gel there. We just dropped it. And had we had time, it was a fairly quick thing. They decided to do it, and I think we were gone 4 or 5 days later, trying to coordinate all the parts and pieces and make sure we had space to stay and place to get water. I mean, it was The National Fire Service here did a really good job of setting that all up. It was logistically, it was huge. Just to go there and you think, well, just travel up there and work there for a week. There's a lot more to it behind the scene than what you really thought of, and really seen it when you got up there.
Yeah, speaking to them, they said that pretty much within an hour and a half of being on the ground, you were pretty much ready to go.
Ready to go.
So that's a phenomenal turnaround time considering the distance that you travel, that once you're actually there, you can really get to work.
Oh yeah, we did to get rest. So we were in the air for like 12 hours and 40 minutes to get there with a stop in Darwin for fuel on the way. And then we got there in the evening, can't fight fires at night. By the next morning, we were on the job.
Yeah.
We got good rest and stuff that night, and I think we got in about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And we were back at the airport, I think, at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Ready to go.